Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to be looking at Jett Lawrence's perfect 450 motocross debut and his response. We'll then get into the 2021 450 class champion Dylan Ferrandis and his thoughts on a podium in his first race back. Our final story will be regarding the 2022 MXGP Champion Tim Gajser. He's been out with a broken leg for a while now, but it looks like today he's back on the bike and we have the footage. But first, we'll be talking with today's special guest, WZ Racing KTM rider Mikkel Haarup. Before I get into that, you guys all know, I've told you before, my magazine is available on the mxnetwork.com, issue number 5. It's only $5.99. I'm getting them this week in a couple of days here, and I will be shipping out all orders, so get those orders in right now, and I'll have them out as soon as I can. But thank all of you guys for supporting me on there. It's awesome. Thanks so much, but let's get straight into today's video. All right, let's call up Mikkel. Hey, Mikkel, glad to have you on. Let's get straight into it. So you started off the season on Kawasaki. You're now on WZ Racing KTM. What was the reason for this change?
I cannot go into too many details on why, but yeah, there was just too many issues with the previous team. Not like personal issues. We were just not able to perform. We had some technical issues and so on. So we mutually agreed to part ways in good faith, though, no issues. And yeah, from the situation how it is at the moment, I'm very happy with the decision I made. Even though it was in a challenging time, you know, in the middle of the season after the first GP. But yeah, that's things.
So you have yet to breach the top 10 overall this year. In previous years, you were a top 5 regular. Is there a struggle switching to KTM after years on Kawasaki?
Yes, I have. I haven't breached the top 10, at least not in the overall. I've had a couple motos inside the top 10, but there is a reason for it. I mean, switching in the middle of the season is difficult, and I was 3 years on the Kawasaki, so to change all of a sudden to Austrian brand was difficult, harder than I would expect. But I do believe very much in my capabilities and the team's capabilities as well. Last weekend was very unfortunate that we didn't breach the top 10, to be honest. Came from 22nd in first race to finish 9th. I was running top 5 speed the whole race. Second motor was just unfortunate. You can see it on my Instagram as well, the GoPro video. I didn't reach the top 10, but I will do soon, though. I know I practiced starts this week and I've improved a lot. I mean, it is one of the main reasons why so far I haven't reached top 10 overall. It's just because I've had bad starts and I have to work my way through the moto. And there's always been something, you know, then a rider crashed, even in first moto. The reason why I start so far back was because there was a rider crashing into me through a rut, and that's just things you get when you don't get the good starts, you know, too much carnage. So we've been working on the starts and hopefully we'll progress now from now on.
So in 2022, you had a career best MX2 season, finishing 7th overall in the standings. With that being said, what would be your goal in 2023?
Yeah, last year we finished 7th, and it was actually a far worse result than we could have had. I believe I had 8 or 7 races with engine issues where I had to DNF. So we were actually running for the top 3 throughout most of the season, but yeah, just because of these technical issues, I wasn't able to get the points needed. So yeah, I mean 7th is okay, but it's not really what I'm working towards. My main goal is to be in the top 3, and in the end, you know, I want to win. So again, this season, because of the change of teams, I missed the Sardinian round, which was round 2, and I barely got any points in round 1. To be fair, this season is not going to be so much about the overall result in the championship, because it'll be hard to catch up many of the points lost, but basically what I'm going to go for is to get my first GP win and get some more podiums and then take it step by step, you know, see how far we progress throughout the year, and then set it up for my last year in MX2 next year.
Your season best finish so far was in Portugal with 11th. Your worst in Switzerland was 16th. Pretty consistent this year. What's the difference between those two races?
Switzerland was my first GP on the KTM. I hadn't had 2 hours on the bike previous to that, so could be one of the reasons why. Portugal was good. I mean, Spain was struggling a little bit to round off the Portugal. France would have been better, yeah, but just unfortunate with the situation I ended up in that second race. So, I mean, the difference is bike time, basically. I mean, actually in Switzerland I had very good starts, but I just crashed a little bit because, no feeling with the bike. I didn't know where to push and how to push the bike because it's very different from the Kawasaki. So, I mean, it's just these things you have to go through now that I haven't had a whole winter on the bike. But I mean, it's been consistent, just not in the area I want to be in.
Now, in the most recent race in France, you had your best Ram qualifying finish of the year in the top 5, finally. So what would you say you need to work on to get those finishes regularly on a race day? And how was France overall?
I did have a good session in France. It was a positive weekend in many ways. I was in top 5 speed pretty much all Saturday. Not the best start in the qualifying race again. So that's been the reason why my race days haven't been the best on Sunday. I mean, it's just because of the starts, really. I start from outside the top 10, or sometimes outside the top 20, sorry. And it's just, in this field, it's too big of a gap to fill when you've come around lap 1, you're already 10 seconds behind the leader. So at least, I mean, that's just how it is. So start's gonna be the key. And In France, generally, I like the track. I enjoyed it. Just wish I've had better starts too, so I could be able to perform.
Thanks so much for coming on today, man. You seem to be getting accustomed to that KTM really quickly, and I see some top 5s and podiums in your near future. Hopefully, I can have you on for another interview soon. Good luck, man. All right, so huge thanks to Mikkel Haarup for coming on today. Now let's get into the news. Honda HRC rider Jett Lawrence had a phenomenal 450 class debut at Fox Raceway National this weekend. It was just straight up a perfect weekend for him. I believe he got one hole shot and early leads in both motos, and obviously the wins. There was no real battle. Jett's teammate and recently crowned 450 Supercross champ Chase Sexton did have speed and caught up to Lawrence in the second moto, but it just wasn't enough. Jett Lawrence was asked to describe his weekend and his thoughts on the coming races in a post-race interview. Here was his response.
And yeah, that's definitely one cool thing. HJ and I winning on the same day. It's crazy to think. I actually went through my head when we signed the kind of the backboard of the podium. It was actually kind of pretty eye-opening. It's pretty sick, but I know it's not going to be like that every weekend. Like Chase said, he's getting more and more time on the bike, obviously getting more comfortable. I've been lucky to get a little bit more time than he has on the 450 with outdoors because obviously we went over the East Coast and I was able to ride. So, but we're still finding our feet on 450. We're gonna have a mistake every now and then. I can say that now. So, but we're looking forward to an awesome summer. I get to race with some sick guys and sick lads. So it's gonna be a fun summer.
Clearly, Jett is pumped on the win, and it's really cool to still see the brotherly love between him and Hunter, as he was talking about how awesome it was for both of them to win on the same day. But I was really happy to see Jett being so honest when he talked about the upcoming races and that he's sure he's going to have some bad days, bad motos, and some struggles. That's cool to hear. Normally, a winner just says, I'm going to keep doing what we're doing, as if nothing will change. Adversity will come for Jett, and I'm glad he's already in the mental state to be prepared for that and what comes. So we'll just have to see how he handles it in the future. But overall, unbelievable start for Jett Lawrence's career on the 450. Now, our second story of the day is regarding podium finisher at the Fox Raceway National, Dylan Ferrandis. As you all know, Ferrandis is one of the fastest guys in the United States Series. I mean, he showed that in 2021 when he almost podiumed. I believe he podiumed in every moto except one throughout his rookie season in the 450 class in 2021. So yeah, Ferrandis is a top guy. But in 2023, Ferrandis has had a really rough go at it. He got a concussion in Houston Supercross, and then he came back in Daytona and crashed and got another one. Since then, Ferrandis just quit Supercross altogether, for this year anyway, and he focused on himself getting healthy and training for Pro Motocross, as he's always been better in motocross. Now, although he wasn't the fastest guy at Pala, he made it clear that he's going to be a title contender this summer, as you saw him being I think he went 3-3? Yeah, 3-3 for third overall. That's wicked consistent, especially for a guy who was hurt for most of the year. So, Ferrandis will be a top guy this summer. Now, Ferrandis was asked in a post-race interview to give his thoughts on his podium and his struggles that he went through with the bike and injury-wise. Dylan Ferrandis responded, quote, "You can be champ, but injury is injury. You have to rebuild yourself. You have to come back and try again, so it's what I did. For sure, I'm very happy to be here, and a little surprised also. The last few weeks have been very tough for the team and myself. We've been struggling a little bit with the bike. That new chassis on the Yamaha 2023 was way better in Supercross, but more difficult in motocross, at least for me. So we had to try a lot. Again today, every session we tried stuff on the bike. So obviously my first session was terrible with P13 in practice. Then we just improved session after session. So I'm very happy. Very thankful for all the work from the guys and the team. I'm lucky they worked this hard because the way it was this morning, I would have never finished on the box today. So I think now we can move forward and build more pace and try to be more performance. Try to be more confident on the bike and improve my pace, my fitness, and everything. And just improving myself race after race. Now, I don't know what changes they made on that bike, but it was obviously worrying when you see Dylan Ferrandis, a former champion and top contender, qualifying or practicing times were outside the top 10. So I'm glad to see. I believe he brought his speed up to a 5th in qualifying, and then obviously the 3.3 for podium. So they definitely fixed something, and I'm glad to see him back racing comfortably and in healthy condition. Hopefully Dylan can stay this way, and I'm sure we're going to see some battles between Dylan Danger Zone, Jett Lawrence, and Chase Sexton for the win this summer. It's going to be a fun summer. Let's see what they got. On to the final story of the day, which is an MXGP World Championship one. We have an update on the 5-time world champion, Tim Gajser. Gajser suffered a broken leg in a bad crash during a preseason race, and he has since been in recovery mode. Well, today it looks like Tim Gajser is back on the bike for the first time, and we have that footage for you. Here it is. I'm actually really surprised by that video. He looks extremely comfortable for just being back on the bike. I don't know how long he was out. I believe it was a couple months, but he had a bad leg break in, I think it was Arco di Trento. There was the Italian Motocross National. He did it. Yeah, he hurt himself there. So yeah, it's been a couple months out, but I'm glad to see him back on the bike. Hopefully we can see him back racing in MXGP soon. We all know he'll be a top contender no matter what, so add that in there, and the adversity in that class is just going to get deeper. So good luck to Tim. Hopefully Tim Gajser can be back racing soon. Well, that's all the news I have for you today. I've already told you once. I'm going to tell you again. You can read the news on the MXNetwork.com. You can also go buy my magazine. You all sold out issue number 4. Issue number 5 is up for pre-order and will be shipped out this week. If you want to buy it, it's only $5.99. I'm extremely thankful for all the support you guys give me. And that's it for today's video. I will see you in the next Moto News video.